Hello, everybody, and welcome to Live and Lead. Today's focus is on strengthening our immunity. A couple basics before we dive in, but we need to understand the process of immunity within our body. So, our body has a built-in system, which is what we call our immunity, to protect the host, which is us. So, we have a natural host resistance. Essentially, what happens is there's pathogens everywhere in food, in the air, on nearly everything that we're exposed to. So those pathogens our body can detect. So once our body detects it, it goes into working to defend it. And we have many different defense mechanisms. We have our skin, we have our blood, we have our lymph nodes, and lymph throughout our body. We have the ability to really strengthen and protect us. So our body's constantly working. Even as I'm sitting here working to create this video, my body is protecting itself. It is figuring out how it can detect the bad guys and how it can also use the good guys to defeat the bad guys. But essentially what we need to do here is focus on what we can control. That's the most important thing when it comes to immunity, is what can we control? So we could live in a bubble for the rest of our life and not go out into the world, or we can decide, I'm going to control and make good decisions, make decisions that are right for me based off of where I am and what I think and what I know to be true. But you also need to know that and arm yourself with a good lifestyle, because lifestyle factors can boost your immunity. So what you don't want to do is just say, oh yeah, I'm going to avoid it, and when I do, I'm going to do this or do that. What you're not doing is you're not strengthening your own defenses. So if and when you are exposed, which you will be at some point in your life, you're going to be exposed to a variety of different infections and pathogens in our world. But let's talk about some lifestyle steps that we can take charge of right now. We don't have to wait. We don't have to wait and say, I'm going to do this in a month. I'm going to do this in 2 months. Immediately, if you are concerned about protecting your body and you against infectious diseases, whatever it might be, you have to act on that, okay? So let's talk about those behavioral aspects. The first thing is we need to practice good personal hygiene. This goes without saying. It's been really inflated as of late, but we need to be smart about when we're sick, stay home. When somebody else is sick, they should stay home. If somebody has symptoms of colds or viruses, they need to alert people before just coming and saying, oh, hey, how are you? And coughing all over them and be like, whoa, why didn't you tell me? So we need to be sensitive to that. But basics, when you cough, when you sneeze, make sure you're doing it effectively. You're washing your hands before you touch your face or your food or anybody else for that matter. Make sure that you are aware of what you've touched and be mindful. But again, you don't have to wear a huge suit and masks and all kinds of crazy things 24/7. Make those decisions whenever you can. But what you have to understand here is that be smart about basic personal hygiene. But here's the kicker, is most people focus so much on personal hygiene, but they don't focus on anything else to strengthen their immunity. And in my opinion, as a health professional and a health educator, that does not make sense to say, oh, well, I'm going to do these things here on a personal hygiene perspective because I want to protect myself. But yet they don't want to do the other lifestyle immunity boosters on their own end. Okay, so some of those, aside from personal hygiene, are we need to get enough sleep. When we get enough sleep, our body restores, it repairs, and it energizes. We need those benefits. We need the repairing, we need the restoring, and we need the energizing so we can go about our day and live our best life. We need to move more. When we move more, when we're physically active and when we exercise, our body is strengthening its immunity. Not only do you get all the other benefits from improved energy to improved mood to decreased risk of all kinds of health challenges, but you also get an immunity boost when you're physically active. Eating well is incredibly important for immunity. When we think about our nutrition, we need to think of it in two ways. Is what I'm about to eat helping my immunity, or is it hurting it? So some things that are unhealthy aren't doing any good. They could actually be bringing it down. But then on other ends, you're missing out. You're displacing something that you could eat that's better. So for example, if you can eat a fudge brownie, yes, that's yummy and tasty, but what's better for your immunity maybe would be an apple or something that is a better alternative. So when we eat, we want to make sure we're eating mostly whole, unprocessed plant-based foods. So fruits and vegetables, legumes, which are beans, peas, and lentils, whole grains, nuts, seeds, mushrooms. These are all the immunity boosters from a nutrition perspective. So we need to make sure that we're making them a part of our daily diet. We also need to be mindful of our stress. We all have a very fast-paced life for the most part. But what we have to understand is we can't always control our stressors, but we can control our response to that. So we have to look at it like this. A stressor causes a stress response. It could be a positive stress response. It could be a challenge and pressure to step up your game and get better. Or it could be a negative stress response, what we call distress. So the positive we call eustress, negative we call distress. What we have to understand here is that we need to meet life's demands, but we also have to understand that there's times that we need to change our response to a stressor. And then when in doubt, we need to downshift. We need to do a little bit less. I don't know about you, but I think at times we're so caught up that we don't take a minute to stop. Even right now, just stop. Right? Just reset for a minute. Take a minute, regain your composure, see where you are, understand how you're feeling, why you're feeling that, and then move forward. And then lastly, from a lifestyle perspective, we want to avoid drugs and alcohol. They are an anchor when it comes to immunity. They are pulling you down. They're not lifting you up. So we have to be mindful of that. Do people certainly want to drink a beer or a glass of wine or two? Absolutely. But what we have to understand here is that when we focus so much of our lifestyle around some negative behaviors, we are bringing ourselves down, but we're also not helping ourselves out. Okay, so what would be better for your immunity? Instead of drinking a couple glasses of wine at night, maybe eat a big bowl of grapes or berries. One is helping you, one is not. All right, so again, that's your personal choice that you have to make for yourself. But the key thing is, what we're doing with Live and Lead is we first want to make people informed and aware to understand what is really going on, but then we want to engage you to live better and lead by example. And with that being said, I want to let you know that we are in the process of creating our third online course through our website, which is www.live-lead.teachable.com. And once you register for our school, we're going to have complimentary as well as low-cost options. So all of our courses are going to be around behavior change and lifestyle change, focusing on the things that you can change. So we hope that you'll learn more about it, but needless to say, when we think about immunity, we have to understand that we matter. And since we matter as people, our health matters. Okay? And since our health matters, our lifestyle matters. So the key thing is you have to make a choice and you have to commit. Do I want to avoid people for the rest of my life, or do I want to engage in healthy lifestyles to strengthen my immunity? Therefore, when I'm exposed, I'm prepared and ready to deal with it. All right. So again, the choice is yours, but I hope that this video helps give you a little bit of information. You can also check out our blog and podcast. And if you're interested, register for our school today. Thank you. Appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you soon.